Welcome to Timeline News, where we bring you real times, real places, and real people. Tonight on our show, we bring you the American frontier and what it meant to the people who lived there. First, live via satellite, we bring you a mountain man from the Colorado Territory. Second, we speak in an intensive interview to a frontier farmer in the Dakota Territory. Next, we speak to a miner fresh off the gold rush in California. And finally, we sit down with the quintessential cowboy to find out what the West means to him. Welcome to the show. Many people think of the American West as a John Wayne movie, all cowboys and Indians fighting all the time. But in this intensive report, we found out that it meant a lot of things to a lot of different types of people. To our first guest, it meant a life of freedom without responsibility to others. It meant that he could escape from society completely. He did this so much so that it took our crew 3.5 weeks to find him. But here he is, live via satellite, Hatchet Jack. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me on the program.
It's great to have you here, Hatchet Jack. First question, really simple. What is the frontier like?
Well, frontier's it's an interesting place, you know. There's not a whole lot of people. And the few people that are out here, you get to know rather well. You know, it's a select breed of men that decide to choose this lifestyle. The ruggedness of it, you know, definitely weeds out the weak. But we're a brethren of sorts. Also, you know, interactions with the Indians are high, and we interact on a fairly positive level with them. You know, we respect them, they respect us, and we just don't really come into each other's way. And we try to avoid confrontation. We're all just trying to live peacefully out here, out in the West.
Alright, now we've learned that you're a mountain man. What is it like being a mountain man on the frontier?
Well, obviously, as the seasons vary, I could be doing multiple things that, you know, spring is much different for me than fall is, but the life of a mountain man is a lonely one and one of solidarity. And although I may be moving around at parts of the year, my day really is never filled with anything. I need to make sure I've got food, so if I need food, I go get food. Occasionally during the spring, I'll set my traps and I'll go and I'll get my traps, but once the pelts of my animals start to thin off because of the warm summer heat, that's not really a priority for me anymore. So really staying alive is my day-to-day. Getting food, getting water, and you know, just surviving out here on the edge of the world.
And finally, we know that you live for the frontier, but what does it mean to you?
The frontier to me it's many things. It's a lifestyle. It's my lifestyle, and it's
Hatchet Jack, it looks like we are losing you. But I guess that's what happens when you film out on the frontier in the Colorado Territory. Let's go to our next interview where we talk to a frontier farmer, Bertha. Now this may not seem like the most exciting topic, but let me tell you, from my interview with her, it is an intense life living out on the frontier. Let's roll that clip.
Bertha, thank you for coming on the program today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So Bertha, what was life for you like as a farmer on the frontier?
Sometimes being out here on the frontier is pretty treacherous. I mean, winters, they're just snowy and the wind's blowing like the dickens, sick, we don't have doctors, and when we don't have enough food, people are hungry, and my kids, I'll give up all my food for my kids. But it's really taught everyone, my whole family, how to survive.
What does an average day during the harvest season look like for you as a farmer?
We get up with the sun in the morning, and our six boys go out with their father out into the field, and they start plowing or harvesting or planting, whatever needs to be done. And me and my two girls, we milk the cow and churn the butter and make breakfast for the boys, and all the food for all day. We start making bread and biscuits and some soup, and just wait for the boys to bring us the meat for supper, and then we all go to bed when it gets dark.
Now, Bertha, why did you make the decision to make the trek out west with your family?
Well, for starters, it was getting a little crowded on the East Coast. Populations were rising and expansion was getting real tight. Mainly it was because Papa lost his job at a factory, and we decided it was time to change. Now, I grew up on a farm myself and moved to a more industrial area when I got married, but so we decided to go back to my roots. So we moved out to the Oklahoma Territory where there was free land, and I decided that it would just be a better life for my children. They could grow up and experience what the land has to offer them. Really, moving out onto the frontier meant freedom and a new discovery of what this new land held, and it was quite exciting, actually. It was an adventure. My life has been an adventure so far.
Well, that's great. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, that is great stuff. It must have been really hard to be a farmer on the frontier. Maybe not as hard, though, as our next guest worked. Our next guest is Levi Gardner. He was a miner for 20 years, and bear with him here, because I'm pretty sure after 20 years in the mines, he got a little crazy in the head, but it's a great interview, and he was a quintessential character of the West. Go to that clip.
Levi, welcome to the interview. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me on the program. When you're out here in the West, it's you're digging in the ground, digging caves, which is inherently dangerous because you got the danger of rocks falling on you, and you got dynamite which you're blowing up the rocks, and mine is just a dangerous job, and all the dangers that go along with it lead to a rather risky lifestyle, but one that can pay off if you hit the mother lode.
You mentioned the mother lode. Is gold what brought you out to the American West?
Well, the idea of gold is what really brought me out here. I've been digging in these hills for near 20-something years now, and I haven't found any yet, but I will. I will find gold one day because I know it's out there, and I know that I will be able to find it.
So, Levi, what does the frontier of the American West mean to you?
Well, Luther, the American West to me is really the land of opportunity. I came out here with hopes and dreams of finding gold. Even though I haven't yet, those hopes and dreams haven't died. I still plan to find gold in these hills, and one day I will.
All right, well, Levi, thank you for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you for having me on the program.
Whew, that Levi Gardner, he is a handful, but let me tell you, our correspondent Kia Jones has her hands full with our next guest, Tom McGray, who is the quintessential cowboy on the frontier. She went out to the Montana Territory while she is interviewing him. Let's go to that now.
Today, we have Tom McGray on our show. I'm out on the Montana frontier at his cattle ranch. Tom, what does an average year look like for you?
Well, we start in Texas and move our way up to Montana, taking the cattle with us. Once we get there, we try to establish a ranch and a place to live so we don't die.
Tom, what are some difficulties that you face every year raising cattle on the frontier?
First, we have to deal with the winter. Once we get done with the winter, we're good. After that, we have to deal with all the diseases our kids catch from the winter. And then the damn Redskins come in and try to kill us all. So overall, we have a lot of problems we have to deal with out here in the West.
What does the frontier mean to you?
Frontier to me means freedom to the wide open West.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, Tom.
No problem, man.
Thanks, Kia, for that great interview. That's our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something, because I certainly did. This is Luther Post signing... Levi, what are you doing?